Julia swiftly switches back to her handgun, picking off the remaining zombie officers with precise headshots, each shot snapping a neck or bursting a skull. Once they're all down, she enters the electronic station. The place is utterly wrecked. Burnt wires, shattered screens. A wave of grim familiarity washes over her. This scene mirrors so much destruction elsewhere. She scours the area and finds ammunition for both her revolver and grenade launcher, along with a sturdy crank handle that could be useful later. Julia spots the still-burning wreckage of the helicopter and notices an overheated water extinguisher. With a grunt, she pulls the crank, activating a pressurized burst of water that finally douses the flames. Approaching cautiously, she peers into what remains of the chopper, only to find charred bodies. No survivors. Sighing, she rummages through scorched compartments and locates flame rounds for her grenade launcher. Perfect, she mutters darkly. Time to turn up their heat. Julia's head snaps toward the sound of a young woman screaming from behind a wrecked door. Without hesitation, she kicks it open, revealing the archive room packed with zombies shambling between shelves. Without missing a beat, Julia raises her grenade launcher and fires. Boom! The explosion rips through the undead crowd, bodies disintegrating into chunks of gore and burning the fairy face. Ламан в and flavel, thanks for the digital. Smoke fills the air as she steps forward cautiously. Hello? She calls out to where she heard screaming. Julia spots a private locked door, likely an experiment chamber. With her tools, she picks the lock with careful precision. The door creaks open to reveal disturbing photos of victims used in Umbrella's experiments. Her stomach churns as she flips through them, then her eyes land on something far more dangerous, a detonator for explosives. Holy shit, she whispers, picking it up cautiously. This could level the whole damn place if I trigger it. Julia finds another locked door. This one leads to what was clearly Marvin's office. The room is in shambles, but scattered across the desk are party decorations, half-inflated balloons, a banner reading, Welcome Leon Kennedy, and confetti. Under the debris, she spots a letter. Picking it up, she reads, Dear Leon Kennedy, we are so glad you accepted the position here. We hope you love working with us. Happy early birthday. Star's team. A pang of sadness hits her. They had no idea this hell would come. Julia notices a pattern. The fallen zombies all seem to have been drawn toward a specific room. She follows the trail, her gun ready, and steps inside an investigation office. The scene is chilling. A dead zombie slumped at a desk, and in the corner, Marvin's body. His face frozen in rigor mortis, his uniform stiff with bloodstains. A half-written report sits on his desk beside an open case file labeled Umbrella Operations Confidential. Marvin's lifeless body twitches. Then, to Julia's horror, he suddenly sits upright. His face is pale and turning blue, the infection taking over. You were doomed, he rasps in a guttural voice, his eyes glassy with undeath. Without warning, the reanimated zombie Marvin lunges at her with terrifying speed, jaws wide open for a bite. Shit! Julia stumbles back just in time to dodge and raises her gun on instinct. The shot rings out. Julia's bullet punches straight through Marvin's skull, dropping him instantly. The gunfire echoes in the small office. Damn, it happened so fast. She mutters, guilt flashing across her face before she hardens again. No time to mourn. Her eyes dart to a monitor screen, still flickering with data. Police Chief Brian Irons, rape allegations, Umbrella payroll. Without hesitation, she grabs a crate of C4 explosives from a shelf nearby. Julia sprints back through the hallway, dodging wreckage from the crashed helicopter. She places the C4 carefully, wiring it to a detonator with shaky hands. She sets a 10-second timer, her heart pounding. Shit! Without looking back, she bolts around a corner and dives behind cover just as the explosion roars, shaking the entire building. Fireballs blast through corridors as debris rains down. Julia emerges from the smoke, coughing as she waves away the haze. The explosion created a gaping hole in the building, and through it she spots a door marked Chief Brian Irons' office. Her jaw clenches. This is him, The corrupt cop tied to umbrella and those rape allegations. Without hesitation, Julia kicks open the door, gun raised, ready to confront him face to face for all his crimes. Julia's blood runs cold as she sees the lifeless girl on Brian's desk, likely a victim. The chair creaks as Chief Irons slowly turns to face her, his gun already drawn. His expression is chillingly calm, almost bored. He lowers the weapon slightly and speaks in a smooth, condescending tone. "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Thought you were another one of those zombies." A pause. "Not that it matters. You're just some fake lesbian singer anyway." Julia narrows her eyes, gripping her gun tighter as she stares down Chief Irons. His smugness makes her blood boil. "So you're Brian Irons," she says coldly, refusing to flinch at his mocking tone. Irons leans back in his chair, smirking like a predator playing with prey. "And you're Julia Volkova, top pop star turned... what? Zombie food?" He chuckles darkly. "The zombies are coming. They'll get you this time." Julia doesn't blink, her stance unwavering. She keeps the gun trained on him, no fear, no hesitation. "You're a real piece of work," she spits out. "Corrupt cop, rape allegations, on Umbrella's payroll." Irons just shrugs, completely unbothered by his own monstrousness. "And the world's ending anyway." A loud groan echoes from the hallway. "The undead are approaching fast." Brian's gaze flicks to the dead girl, his expression unreadable, almost detached. He nods slightly. "That's Major Harris' daughter. I was supposed to look after her." Julia scoffs in disgust, was dripping with contempt. "Who the hell would trust you to protect anyone? You're a fucking failure at everything, even basic human decency." Irons doesn't react beyond a slow blink, then he shrugs again like it means nothing. "Yeah, looks like I failed miserably." Julia's face twists in fury, her voice sharp as a blade. "Fucking miserable. This girl didn't deserve to die because of your incompetence." Brian, instead of feeling guilt, just stares at the dead girl's corpse with eerie detachment. "Look at her," he muses almost poetically. "Her skin, perfect. Not a mark on it before the bite." He tilts his head like he's observing art. "Now she'll rot into perverse cabbage like all the others." Julia feels sick. His coldness is more disturbing than any monster outside. Julia clenches her teeth, furious that Brian is so casual about murdering the undead, but also unsettled by how easily he switches topics. "There are ways to stop it," she says firmly. Brian nods like she's stating the obvious. "Yeah, headshot or decapitation, simple." Then, without warning, his demeanor shifts. He turns to a shelf of taxidermied animals, stuffed birds and foxes, and traces a finger over one with weird nostalgia. "Used to love this hobby. That was then." His voice suddenly hardens again. "Now get out." Julia turns on her heel, marching toward the door, but not without one last scathing remark. "Your escape plan was a shit show, by the way. Your officers can't even shoot straight." She sneers. "Too cheap to pay for your own escort? Pathetic. But honestly, I kind of respect that level of broke-ass incompetence." Brian doesn't react, just keeps staring at his taxidermy like she's already gone. With that, Julia slams the door behind her and strides back into chaos, zombies groaning in the halls again. Julia moves through the long, eerie corridor, its walls lined with taxidermied animals, including a massive stuffed tiger looming under flickering lightning. The air hums with tension. A noise draws her attention, a small scuffling sound, like tiny footsteps. She turns off the lights suddenly, plunging the hallway into darkness. The little girl in the Japanese school uniform gasps and tries to bolt, but Julia is faster. In one swift motion, she grabs her by the stomach before she can escape. The girl thrashes wildly, screaming pure panic in her voice. "Let go!" But Julia doesn't loosen her grip. Instead, she instantly shifts from capture mode to protection mode. She spins the girl gently and pulls her into a crushing hug, smooshing kisses all over her cheeks like an overbearing aunt. "Shh! Shh! Everything's okay now!" Julia coos loudly, squeezing tight as if shielding the kid from the apocalypse itself. "Oh my God, you're shaking so bad." The little one stiffens at first, then slowly melts into the embrace between sobs. Julia keeps smooching the girl's tear-stained cheeks, her voice soft and warm, like a lullaby in hell. "Ah, baby, you're too cute to die," she murmurs between kisses. "I got you. I'm saving you." The little girl, overcome with fear and relief, suddenly starts pressing frantic kisses all over Julia's face, her forehead, nose, lips, a child's desperate attempt to cling to safety. Julia laughs through it. "Oh, God, sweetheart." She scoops the kid up bridal style. "You're safe now. No zombies getting my new best friend." Julia melts into the kiss, Sherry's tiny lips pressing against hers in a mix of fear, love, and pure childlike devotion. Between kisses, Julia whispers, "I love you to death. I'm Julia." Sherry giggles wetly through tears. "I love you too," before diving back into another kiss. Still shaking slightly from trauma, Sherry clings tighter as Julia hugs her fiercely, one hand rubbing aggressive circles on her back while their mouths meet again. Sherry sniffles between kisses. "You're so soft." Her voice is muffled but happy. Julia hums sweetly, pooping her nose against Sherry's before sealing their lips together again. Her voice is syrup warm, laced with promise. "I'm a softie. Oh, hun, your world's gonna be all soft now. That's all I want." Sherry kisses back eagerly, still trembling like a leaf, but Julia doesn't mind. She just holds her tighter, pressing kiss after kiss to her mouth. "You've been alone so long," Julia murmurs, "but you deserve this." "Sweetheart," Sherry whimpers. I'm still shaking, and Julia nuzzles into her hair. "It'll cool down soon." Sherry's sobs escalate into full panic, her tiny body racked with fear as she chokes out her story. "My mom works at the medicine factory near the city limits. My dad, he screamed my name. They told me to come here because it was too dangerous." Julia doesn't hesitate. She cups Sherry's face, pressing their noses and foreheads together in a grounding hug. "Shh, you're not ready for that yet, hun." Her voice is steel wrapped in velvet. "I'll save them. I promise." Sherry sniffles hard, gripping Julia's jacket like a lifeline, as if believing those words could rewrite fate itself. Sherry looks up at Julia with wide, watery eyes, still terrified but clinging to her like a lifeline. Julia smiles gently and brushes Sherry's hair back. "You're such a brave girl, running through all this hell just for your parents." Sherry shakes her head violently, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I'm not brave. I'm so scared. I need help." Julia doesn't hesitate. She kisses the top of Sherry softly before pressing their lips together in a reassuring kiss. "You have me now. Everything's gonna be okay." She hugs her tight again. "And you're fucking incredible." Sherry's voice cracks with urgency, her little hands gripping Julia's arms. "I heard my dad. He was roaring like a freak, calling for me." Julia immediately cups Sherry's face, forcing eye contact. Her tone is firm but gentle, the voice of someone who won't let panic spiral further. "Okay, we deal with it. But right now, we calm you down." Sherry screams in frustration. "I'm not crazy! I heard it!" Her breathing is ragged, on the verge of hyperventilating. Julia pulls her close again, rubbing circles on her back. "I believe you at this point. I believe everything. But sweetheart, breathe first." The roar, deep, guttural, and utterly inhuman, echoes through the halls. Julia's blood freezes. Her grip on Sherry slips as she instinctively bolts down the corridor. "What was that?" she shrieks, adrenaline kicking in. Sherry yells after her, "Now you're catching on, huh?" Clearly referring to whatever monstrosity that sound came from. Julia doesn't stop running until she reaches Chief Iron's abandoned office, now empty. On his desk, a private diary left behind, pages slightly crumpled but intact. Julia flips open the diary, scanning Brian Iron's narcissistic scribbles. The handwriting is smug, almost gleeful, like a villain's monologue in print. "I've been living luxury, but I protected my town from itself." She rolls her eyes hard. What a fucking ego trip. The entry continues. "By keeping those pesky stars off my ass, I secured my income and Umbrella's future. They're nice. They built me private sewer passageways if I feel like checking them out." A line follows. "Not that it's any concern, but God, do I feel important." Julia keeps reading, her disgust growing with every line. Brian truly believed he was Umbrella's golden boy, some kind of visionary instead of just a corrupt pawn. "At least in Umbrella's eyes, they don't just see me as a tool. I'm the voice of reason." She scoffs aloud. "Yeah, right." The diary mentions William Birkin. He talks to his viruses like they're their pride sons. I've seen it, which is creepy even by mad scientist standards. Then Brian brags about power trips. "I even did some trips down to the satellite base yesterday." Not exactly professional cleaners there. Julia's lip curls in disgust as she reads Brian's toxic, paranoid power fantasy. The man truly saw himself as the untouchable king, Umbrella's enforcer and savior all at once. Because I threatened him? Lucky I didn't shoot him, like threatening people was just a casual hobby. The entry gets darker. Seriously, anyone who challenges my authority must be cleaned of. I have my fun, but mind my business while keeping Umbrella in check. As if he wasn't complicit in everything they did. Then the most unhinged line, they're powerful. They destroy us if I don't keep them in check. But rest assured, they ever dare touch me, they go down with me. Julia slams the diary shut, her face twisted in rage at Brian's narcissism and cruelty. She strides to the window, just in time to see a military helicopter hovering overhead. The chopper deploys a long tube connected to a hanging barrier beneath it, some kind of emergency containment or extraction system. Before she can process that, crash. A deafening impact shakes the ground nearby. Something huge just landed. Then, heavy rhythmic footsteps start thundering from afar. Tum, tum, tum. Julia sprints through the corridors, her mind racing, still haunted by what she saw outside. Was that Sherry's dad? A mutated monster coming to say hello? The thought sends a chill down her spine. Friend of Sherry's dad wants to say hi, huh? She mutters sarcastically, but there's no time for jokes. As she reaches the basement, dogs, infected and feral, attack. One lunges at her leg. Julia fires a shot point blank, dropping it instantly. Another tackles her, but she grabs the grenade launcher and kicks it off, then blasts it into gory chunks. Julia bursts into the garage, spotting a SWAT van parked in her way. With zero hesitation, she shoves it aside like it's made of cardboard. The cops probably didn't expect some Russian pop star to just bulldoze their vehicles and stroll through hell unfazed. She dashes back through the halls, arriving at a holding block where cells line the walls. Inside one, Ben Berryman, currently sitting there looking pathetic, raising his hands pleadingly. Please, I'm a nice guy. Julia recognizes him instantly. The same wannabe hero from before, now locked up for all she knows. Ben's face lights up when he sees Julia, mixed with desperation and performative charm. Oh no, nas ne dogonят, they won't catch us? Julia grins, twirling a key she found on some dead guard's belt. Hi. Want to change your artistic freedom a little? She unlocks the cell door with a dramatic click. Ben scrambles out, dusting himself off before launching into his defense. I gave you many favorable reviews. I can't love everything. Julia raises an eyebrow. Yeah, most were decent. But you trashed our Japan tour like we were drunk circus acts. Ben rubs the back of his neck, sheepish but relieved she's not actually mad. Yeah, I overcompensated for journalistic believability. My bad. Julia rolls her eyes but softens, just a little. She shoves him playfully. Go on, sleep well. I'm not leaving you to rot for your missteps. Someone's got to keep humor alive in this shithole. Then she mimics Lena's voice mockingly. Ooh, little baby, are you scared? A perfect imitation before groaning. Reminds me, I forgot to call that bitch. Julia lifts the radio, her voice suddenly playfully dramatic as she addresses Lena. Hi, little angel. Are you hiding in the safest closet? Her name's Sherry. Sweet girl. We made out. But problem is, she ran off again. She sighs dramatically, shaking her head like this is a personal betrayal. Despite my Moscow breath and East European charm and street voice. Believe that shit. A pause. Then Julia tilts the radio slightly, waiting for a response. You alive? Lena's voice crackles through the radio, dry and unimpressed. I'm getting out. Guess I have to find that poor soul. TATU is finito. Keep up or we happily leave you behind. Click. Julia scoffs, pressing the button again. Sherry's one thing. She's packed with Japanese secure fashion. You got no fucking excuse. A beat. Then she adds mockingly, ha, like you can rescue anything right now. Call the police. They're probably zombie chow by now. Ben's eyes widen as he recognizes Lena's voice through the radio. Was that Lena motherfucking Katina? Julia smirks, slinging a grenade launcher over her shoulder like it's a purse. Looks like we're moving, unless TATU is aimed for preschoolers now. She grabs clips of ammo and racks the machine gun with one smooth motion. In the parking lot ahead, Mr. Umbrella's hulking bioweapon, stomping toward them menacingly. Boom. Julia doesn't hesitate. She fires grenades relentlessly, shielding Ben behind her while screaming, "Stay behind me, sweetheart!" Julia dances around Mr. X, lumbering punches, grenade launcher blasting continually, each explosion lighting up his hulking frame like a fireworks show gone wrong. "Oh no," she mocks in a sing-song voice. "Did the big scary monster miss again?" Mr. X roars, swiping wildly, but Julia dodges every strike with pop star agility, still firing round after round. The explosions should have turned him to ash, but this thing just won't stay down. She cackles between shots. "Come on! When do you die?" Mr. X staggers, his movements sluggish now, each punch swinging wider but hitting nothing. Julia dodges like it's a game, cackling as she unloads grenade after grenade into his chest. "Oh no," she coos. "Big guy's getting slow. Can't even hit the pretty singer." The bioweapon groans in pain, his regeneration struggling to keep up with the explosions. He tries one last desperate lunge, only to smash through a row of brand new cars instead. Julia laughs harder and fires another round point blank. "Wrong target, dumbass!" Mr. Now, a burning wreck, stumbles blindly, smashing through more cars like a drunk driver. Julia doesn't stop firing until he finally collapses into a smoldering heap. Panting from adrenaline, she wipes sweat off her brow and struts over to Ben, still hiding behind cover. "Hey, starstruck journalist," she says breathlessly, "you okay? Or did that Hulk scare your little reporter's soul?" Ben blinks up at her, half impressed, half traumatized by the sheer violence of it all. Julia's tough exterior melts instantly when she sees Ben's upset face, his wide, watery eyes making her chest tighten. She immediately softens. Hey, she murmurs, cupping his cheek gently. "I know I can be street dirty sometimes." Ben sniffles, and then full-on cries. Julia exhales in sympathy. I hate sorrow, especially after my ambitious jokes. Without hesitation, she pulls him into a tight hug and pats his back reassuringly. "Oh, Jesus, fuck, it's okay, I was just clearing the toilet." "My bad. You'll be fine." Ben pulls back slightly, sniffling as he gives Julia a wobbly smile. "I apologize for that review." Julia laughs, genuinely, and ruffles his hair. "Buddy, we're more than even now. You think I'd let you get hurt over some stupid critique?" Her voice drops to something tender but fierce. "It's my soft attitude. Believe me, my Russian ass has been through worse in this town. But I will keep you safe, I promise." Then she yanks him back into another hug. "Come here, sweetheart," squeezing tight like a protective older sister. Julia digs into Mr. X's smoldering corpse, pulling out multiple flame rounds, like the bioweapon was some kind of walking armory. Why is he walking with all this good stuff? And why the fuck am I complaining? She grins, pocketing them greedily. Ben watches, explaining, "That's a Tyrant model. They're sent for specific purposes, high-risk targets." Julia nods. "Thank you, honey. Good to know." Then she sprints toward the morgue, peeking inside before turning back to Ben. "Better wait out here. This hall is comfy now." Julia gives Ben one last quick hug, checking if he's feeling better. He nods and she smiles before cupping his face affectionately. Then she slips into the morgue, a cold, silent room filled with naked corpses. The scent of death hangs heavy, but Julia doesn't flinch. She starts looting, grabbing acid rounds from shelves and rummaging through iron desks. Under a pile of papers, a red keycard glints in the dim light. Julia snatches it up triumphantly. Bet Lena would never find this shit. Maybe in her ass. She smirks at her own joke before pocketing it. The zombies, previously still in the morgue, suddenly twitch, then rise. Ben, panicking outside, flings the door open and screams. Julia spins around just as rotting hands reach for her. Without missing a beat, she shouts, "Shut the door!" and slams it shut with her boot. She whips out her gun and fires 3 quick headshots into incoming zombies. One lunges at her. She kicks it hard in the chest before putting a bullet between its eyes. "Nas ni dagonyat," she growls. "Suckers, ain't need a truck for your lamos." Ben exhales shakily, still wide-eyed from the near zombie attack. "Oh, my Budara, are you okay?" Julia nods. "Da." She brushes off a speck of zombie gore on her sleeve, like it's nothing. Ben admits softly, "That was scary." And Julia softens, cupping his chin gently. "A little maybe, but your sweet hall is still comfy, right?" Without hesitation, she grabs a machine gun and straps a side pack full of ammo to herself, already plotting. She smirks. No way I'm leaving anything for Lena. The infected dogs suddenly jump down from the backyard fence, snarling and snapping like rabid hellhounds. Ben yelps, "Ah!" Shit, shit, shit. Julia doesn't hesitate. She shoves him behind her. Stay tight as you can, and unloads her gun in rapid bursts, bullets tearing through the dog pack. One almost lunges at them. Julia spins and fires repeatedly until its head is pulp. She pants, then turns to Ben. "You okay, hon?" Ben nods frantically. "Das spasiba." Julia kisses his forehead briefly. "You welcome." Julia reloads smoothly, sliding a fresh clip into her gun before descending into the sewer with Ben close behind. The tunnels are dim, dripping with filth, but then she spots Sherry, huddled alone. She approaches carefully, kneeling in front of her. "I was really worried. Are you okay, sweetie?" Sherry sniffles. "I tried to find Daddy. He's over there." She points down a darker tunnel. "He tried to call my name." Julia's expression hardens. If Sherry's dad was shouting for his daughter, that meant he wasn't fully infected yet. Maybe still human, or close enough. Julia tries to reason with Sherry, her tone firm but gentle. "We have to go now, honey. That monster isn't up for any duets." Sherry shakes her head violently. "No! That's my dad!" Julia exhales, almost laughing at the kid's stubborn loyalty. "What's up? You don't trust me yet?" Sherry hesitates, then nods slightly. She does trust Julia, but desperation wins. She suddenly bolts down the tunnel and squeezes into a narrow crawl space. Julia swears under her breath before chasing after. "Hey! What are you gonna do alone?" Ben watches Julia with a mix of awe and exhaustion, muttering to himself, "Mother of the Year with an M79 grenade launcher." Julia meets his gaze, dead serious. "God knows what's out there." Ben nods grimly. "Trouble. And some bills?" He gets her meaning. Umbrella owes blood money for all this destruction. Julia's expression darkens further as she thinks aloud. "I was thinking about Lena. A silent promise. Umbrella will pay." Ben rubs his temples, stressed about Sherry's reckless runoff. "God, I don't know what to do." "Tie her up?" He scribbles notes furiously in his mind, journalist instincts kicking in despite the chaos. "I got some info, useful intel for later." Julia grins at that. "That's great. All I need is to lead your way, huh?" Myself, I'm happy just starting a party with Putin. A joke, mostly. Then Ben mentions Lena might find Sherry first. Julia scoffs. For God's sake, the undead would be a preferable babysitter. Sherry crawls back out, but doesn't emerge fully. She just tosses the acid rounds and keys toward Julia before retreating again. Julia catches them, blinking. "That's very ecological. Thanks." She pockets the loot with a smirk. Then she orders, "I want you to stay here, preferably," not trusting Sherry not to bolt again. Sherry pouts but nods. "I can't reach the ventilation hole. I'll find another way." She starts crawling off into some shadowy side tunnel. Julia's voice cracks from yelling, "What the hell? Sherry! Sherry!" But the kid is gone, vanishing into the sewer tunnels. Ben kicks a pipe in frustration, sending metal clattering across the floor. Julia slumps against a wall, exhausted beyond belief. "Let Lena deal with her," she mutters bitterly. "The more I think about it, they'd be perfect together." She watches Sherry's retreating shadow disappear further down before standing up wearily. Ben side-eyes her. "Yo, go all in?" Julia waves him off. "It's just all this screaming, not good for my throat." The duo sprints past a row of soda vending machines, some still flickering with weak electricity. Ben, mid-run, babbles excitedly. "There's icons on these things, like secret passageway clues." Julia glances at the symbols, probably some umbrella corporate nonsense. "I'm sure he's crazy enough for some strange activities," she mutters, "but hey, at least it's a way out." As they move forward, zombies shamble into their path. Without breaking stride, Julia raises her gun and pops off precise shots, each bullet landing directly in a zombie's temple. Bang, bang, bang! The zombies keep piling up, but Julia is a blur of violence, dodging and gunning them down with brutal efficiency. Each shot is calculated. Headshot, double taps to the chest. Then, inside an interrogation room, a licker screeches from the shadows, its grotesque tongue lashing out. Ben points urgently to a green door across the hall. Inside there's a lighter. Julia kicks open the door, snatches it up, then immediately flicks it on and sets fire to nearby flammable debris. The flames spread fast as she lights the lights above, turning them into makeshift torches. The firelight dances across Ben's face as he admits, "I'm feeling strange telling you to do this." Julia shrugs, practical. "His wish is our command. What you want to do when we get out of here?" Ben hesitates, then says quietly, "Drop the files. If anyone listens, a journalist's dream, to expose Umbrella." A small icon clatters from a broken vending machine nearby. Julia picks it up, turning it over in her palm before sighing. "Yeah, it's always that. Better just save them and enjoy life." Just as Julia grabs the icon, boom! Mr. X's fist smashes through the concrete wall, sending debris flying. The bioweapon roars, towering over them. Julia screams, "Oh no, run, Ben!" And Ben bolts down the hallway without a second thought. Julia whirls around and unloads every bullet she has, gunfire echoing off the walls like a symphony of chaos. She even mocks Mr. X between shots. "Miss me, you ugly bastard!" The monster staggers but doesn't go down yet, fueled by pure rage now. Mr. X swings a crushing punch. Julia ducks just in time, the wind from his fist nearly knocking her over. Without missing a beat, she racks the grenade launcher and blasts him point blank. Kaboom! The explosion engulfs Mr. X in flames, his skin sizzling, his roars turning into pained howls as fire licks at every inch of him. Julia grins wildly through the smoke. Ow! Hurts, doesn't it? Before firing another grenade right into his flaming chest for good measure. Tym asserting usually applied karab consum hastik particular staccato that things it also Now fully enraged, starts swinging his fists like a wrecking ball, shattering walls, crushing machines, and sending flames spiraling as debris ignites. Julia backflips, yes, backflips out of the way to avoid being crushed, landing in a safe spot before immediately unloading more grenades. The room is basically a fireworks show at this point, explosions everywhere. Between shots, she yells, "That's right! Dance in the fire, you overgrown rat!" mocking him relentlessly while turning the battlefield into an inferno. Mr. X finally collapses, smoldering, half-melted from the relentless explosions, and Julia doesn't stick around to see if he gets back up. She bolts out of the burning room. She catches up to Ben down a safer corridor and tackles him into a tight hug before he can run too far. "Hey! Not so fast, sweetheart," she teases breathlessly. Pulling back, she checks on him. "You okay? Don't get too far from me." Ben sheepishly admits, "I got a bit excited." Julia laughs, relieved, and ruffles his hair. "Yeah, I got carried away. He can't live forever." The two walk down the eerily silent hall. This place feels like a bureaucratic hellscape, all sterile walls and soulless corporate energy. Ben sighs. This is lost. It's a bureaucratic take on our establishment. Julia scoffs. "You know what? Just throw the files away. We live far away from state-funded soft real estates," her tone dripping with disdain for Umbrella's system. Then, boom! The wall explodes beside them as Mr. X's fist smashes through, his monstrous face appearing in the hole. Ben instinctively ducks behind Julia, pressing himself against the wall as Mr. X's massive frame fills the broken hole, his rage practically radiating off him. Julia snarls, fully enraged, and grabs a flame round, shoving it into her launcher without hesitation. "Your ass already? Can't take a no for a fuck you." She fires. The flame round hits Mr. X square in the chest and ignites like a napalm bomb. The entire hallway erupts in fire, flames licking up every surface as Mr. X roars, but keeps trying to crawl toward them through the inferno. Julia reloads fast, slamming another flame round into the launcher with zero hesitation. She's not holding back, no mercy, just pure fury. "Just give in to the pain," she screams, "or just leave us alone. You don't have to." Mr. X tries to lunge and grab her, but he's too far, his massive arms swinging wildly as Julia fires again. The flames engulf him completely now, but he still refuses to drop. She cackles through the smoke. "Oh, come on! Still going?" Pathetic, mocking him relentlessly while turning him into a human, bioweapon torch. Julia doesn't waste a second. She grabs acid rounds this time, shoving them into the launcher with brutal efficiency. Mr. X is already melting from the flames, but acid? That's next level pain. Whoosh! The acidic liquid hits him, his skin sizzling and dissolving instantly under its corrosive power. The fire spreads even faster now, turning everything, walls, floors, inferno. Julia stands there like a war goddess. Melt you, ugly motherfucker! Her voice dripping with savage satisfaction as she watches him literally fall apart. Mr. X finally collapses, his body a charred, melted wreck from the relentless fire and acid assault. Julia exhales sharply, then immediately turns to Ben. She pulls him into a tight hug. I'm sorry, sweetie, I just never learned. Her voice is softer now, guilty for putting him through all that terror. You okay? Ben nods shakily, still trembling from adrenaline. Julia kisses his forehead, reassuringly. You're fine. We'll be all right. Then she rushes over to Mr. X's corpse and starts looting, grabbing acid rounds and machine gun clips right out of his pockets like it's grocery shopping.